Welcome to Coach Eichner's Math. Today we'll be talking about 45, 45, 90 triangles. They are a special case of right triangles. Anytime you're solving for a length of a missing side on a 40, 45, 45, 90, label it like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we've got 45s. Our 45s are always across from our legs. And our legs are always going to be labeled as X. So go ahead on example 1, 2, and 3 and find your 45s and label the two sides as X. Now that you've done that, 90 degrees always points to the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is always going to be the different one. It is going to be X radical 2, or X square roots of 2. So at this time, take just a moment, go down the three examples, find your hypotenuse and label it as X square roots of 2. I'm going to go ahead and move down with you and do that as well. All right, so let's look at example number 1. We want to know what would we label each of these sides based on which side it is, knowing that it's a 45, 45, 90. Now, they only give you 145. I'm hoping we already did the math and said 180 minus 90 is 90, minus 45 is 45. So you should be able to say that that's 45 degrees. So right now they say AB. AB would be X. BC would be X. And AC would be X square roots of 2. Notice I said radical 2 and square roots of 2. I've said them both. Both are acceptable ways to say that. But that is considered a radical sign, and you're taking the square root of 2. So you could say X square roots of 2 or X radical 2. Either one is acceptable. Looking down at example number 2. AB would be X. BC now is our hypotenuse, which is X radical 2, or AC is X. Look down at example number 3. We're going to say that AB is our hypotenuse on this one. It is X radical 2. BC is X, and AC is X as well. Now what you may have noticed is that's really easy as you're looking through it. The only reason it is easy is we took time ahead of time to label our different sides. Please make sure you take time to do that, as it will make a large difference in the outcome of your problems. Now to apply it, let's look at example number 4. We know that it is a 45, 45, 90 because we have a 90 and a 45, which tells me this is a 45 as well. So I'm going to take my two 45s, go across, and I'm going to mark them as X. So right now I know X is 5. So AB must also be 5. Notice I can just put a little equal sign there. I go across from my hypotenuse, that is the longest side, or X radical 2. Well, I know X is 5, so instead of putting an X there, for AC, I'm going to tell you that it is 5 radical 2. And it is that simple when you have one of your legs. Let's look down at example number 5. Again, 90 degrees, they tell me one's 45, the other one must be 45. So as I'm labeling it, my two legs are going to be AB, so that's X, and BC, so that's X. Which leaves 4 radical 2 to be my hypotenuse. So I'm going to say X radical 2, which we know is the hypotenuse, equals 4 radical 2. So really to solve for X, I'm going to divide both sides by radical 2. X would equal 4, which is your side length, AB and BC. It's really easy when I have a radical sign. Number 6 is the same example, same type of problem, except one difference. I know that this is X, and this is going to equal X radical 2. Well, what do I do if I don't have a radical 2? I would say that X equals 6 divided by the radical of 2. Unfortunately for us, while that does fit our needs for math, it's not the simplified version. So in order to change this into a form that we're okay with, we're going to go ahead and multiply by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. Well, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 would be the square root of 4, which is just 2. 6 times the square root of 2 can't be simplified. So we'll say 6 radical 2 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is just 3. And we're going to keep that radical 2 right where it's at. So we know that x equals 3 radical 2. So I can therefore say my two legs equal 3 times the radical 2. So AC is 3 radical 2 and BC is 3 radical 2. Now, for the shortcut, what you need to notice, if you take the hypotenuse, 6, you divide it by 2 and multiply by the radical 2, you're going to end up at the same answer. So long story short, every time the hypotenuse is a integer and we're saying that it equals x radical 2, you can multiply by 2, divide by 2 and multiply by the square root of 2. And you will get to the same place and have a rational answer to put on your paper. Let's look down at number 7. Number 7 throws a different trick at us here. Still know it's 90, got 45 and got 45. So if we label, we'd say that this is x over here. We'd say that this is x over here. Notice I said what they told me over here is equal to x. And the hypotenuse is x radical 2. Easy to say that BC must be 2 radical 3. Now, x is 2 radical 3. So if I say x square roots of 2, well, we know that this is x, so I'm going to write down 2 radical 3 for x times the square root of 2. There's my new problem to work with. Because I'm multiplying, I can say 2 times 3, which is 6. So now I've got 2 square roots of 6, and that would be the x square root of 2 side, or the hypotenuse known as AC. Thank you for watching Coach Eichner's Math. This has been 45, 45, 90 triangles. I hope it has done you well, and have a great rest of your day.